Have you ever been so burned out that all you wanted to do is just stay in your bed for the entire weekend, wrapped up in a blanket, endlessly scrolling, binge watching shows, and letting the outside world just fade away? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. Gen Z has a name for it. It's called bedrotting. On platforms like TikTok, it's been glamorized as the ultimate form of self-care. A quiet rebellion against the pressure to always be on. But as the trend goes viral, experts are raising red flags, warning that it might not necessarily be self-care at all. They're concerned it could be a silent symptom of a much deeper mental health crisis. So what's the real story? Why are so many people suddenly embracing the rot? Well, you just have to look at the world we're living in. We're surrounded by the hustle culture, the constant nagging pressure to do more, achieve more, stay plugged in 24/7. Gen Z is reporting sky-high rates of burnout, with some studies showing they spend an average of 9 hours a day staring at the screens for school, work, and their social lives. From that perspective, bedrotting feels like a necessary escape. It's a deliberate timeout, a chance to decompress in a comfy, low-stake environment where you can finally drop your responsibility, even just for a day. And supporters have a point. They argue it's a perfectly valid way to recharge your batteries. In a society that worships being busy, bedrotting is about giving yourself permission to rest without feeling guilty about it. When it's done intentionally and not too often, a day of rest can actually lower stress hormones and give an overstimulated brain a much needed break. It's framed as this little act of defiance, a way to take back your time and energy from the world that just demands too much. For a lot of people, it's simply a way to feel comforted and less pressured. But when does taking care of yourself cross the line into self-sabotage? Experts warn that while the occasional lazy day is essential, chronic bedrotting can be a very slippery slope. One of the biggest risks, your sleep. Spending hours and hours awake in bed can seriously mess with your body's internal biological clock. Your brain starts to think your bed is a place of, where you can watch TV and eat and scroll on social media on your phone and not sleep. That confusion can lead to insomnia and restlessness, low quality sleep, which ironically just makes you even more tired. A lot of times in therapy session with patients, I often use stimulus control activities to help with sleep, wake routine disruption. And usually that's done because when you stay in bed for long periods of time, it can significantly impact conditioned learning, where you learn to associate the bed with other activities other than sleeping. So this can be a significant issue in causing or leading to insomnia and restlessness. And then there's a mental health side of things. What starts as a way to cope can quickly turn into a cycle of avoidance. So staying isolated and inactive for long periods of time are major contributors to both anxiety and depression. So hiding out of bed might offer a moment of relief, but over time, it can make feelings of hopelessness and loneliness much worse. It creates basically a feedback loop. You feel down, so you retreat to bed, which in turn makes you feel even more down. And on top of that, there are real physical consequences to this too. Being that sedentary is linked to higher risk of back pain, heart problems, and other metabolic issues. So bedrotting isn't just good or evil. It's somewhere in the middle. The real difference comes down to intent and frequency. Was your day in bed a deliberate one-off reward after a brutal week that left you feeling refreshed, or has it become your go-to habit whenever you feel overwhelmed, leaving you with a nasty hangover of guilt and anxiety? Here's a quick way to check in with yourself. Think about your last bed rot day. Did you feel rested and recharged afterwards, or did you just feel like you wasted a day? Are you starting to neglect basic hygiene, or are you skipping meals, or constantly canceling plans so you can stay in bed? Does the thought of getting out of bed fill you with a sense of dread? Answering those questions honestly can reveal if your bed rotting is restorative rest or a red flag for something deeper like depression or severe burnout. So healthy rest is a choice to recharge. Chronic avoidance feels like you have no other choice. If you think your bed rotting might be leaning more into an unhealthy territory, the answer isn't to shame yourself back into a hustle. It's about finding a healthier balance. Instead of a full day of rotting, maybe try setting a timer. You could give yourself the morning to lounge, but plan a small fun activity for the afternoon. Think about recharging without retreating. This could be something as simple as a light walk, which is proven to release mood-boosting endorphins. You could try a few minutes of mindfulness or just spend some time in nature. These activities let your mind rest without the side effects of being totally inactive. And to protect your sleep, try to make your bed a phone-free zone. Reserving it just for sleep helps your brain keep its strong connection between your bed and actual restorative rest. So when it comes down to it, balance is everything. The viral trend of bed rotting puts a spotlight on a very real problem. People are burnt out and desperate for an escape. An intentional, guilt-free day of rest can be an amazing tool for self-care. But when it becomes a chronic habit you use to avoid your life, it can be a warning sign of a serious health crisis. So knowing the difference is what really matters for protecting your well-being. So what do you think about bed rotting? To be honest with you, I did this video because one of our really good friends was concerned about her Gen Z kids sort of staying in bed for too long and actually asked if I could do a video on this particular topic. So I would love to hear about from you guys and what your experiences have been, either yourselves as the Gen Zer or somebody that you know that may be having some difficulty in balancing this. Is it basically a necessary escape or a dangerous trend? Let me know about your experiences in the comments. And if you're interested in this topic, make sure to subscribe for more content about mental health and our modern world. Thanks again, and thank you for your support.